Hey, welcome back. It's Mike. Congratulations on taking the time to learn this skill, this art of securing homes. It takes being a student for a minute so that you can develop this, so that you will have this skill. We have got an awesome video coming to you that was taken a number of years ago when we used to go straight door to door. And they might say a few things that might not be exactly in our system today because things have changed a little bit and we focus on new homeowners for this video. However, there's so many fantastic nuggets that we still use today that are so powerful. You already know who Jason, the guru of learning how to secure homes from him and his talent and his ability, but he also has another gentleman. His name is Ron, that has secured over 2,000 homes with us. He made six figures. He paid off his house with us and actually drove a 350Z when he worked with us. That has so much wisdom to share with you. And that's the key, is whenever you get a chance, grab the wisdom, write it down. If you're ever to take notes on a video, this is the one, right? So get ready to take some notes, understand it, apply it. That's the key, is apply this, what you learn, ask questions about it. Again, if there's anything in here that seems a little bit, like it wouldn't be in the system, just ask your trainer and we'll clarify that with you. With that, enjoy this video. It's about getting into homes, one of the first key steps in learning and dominating in this skill and in this industry. So with that, get ready and make it a great day.
All right, great. Hey, just wanted to talk about a checklist for getting in. As we know, starting in this business, your step number one is getting in the house. And if y'all wouldn't mind just sharing a couple things, maybe a little checklist you have for yourself, if you're training a new person, or just for yourself to make sure that, hey, I'm doing these things that will give me the highest probability of getting in to a home. Whoever wants to start, that'd be great.
Want to go back and forth?
Sure,
Yeah, okay.
sure, that's fine. Number one, I think it's real important to feel good about the way you dress, the way you look, making sure your appearance is fine. Because in my opinion, if that's not right, you haven't really planned on being successful that day. And then to tag along with that, make sure you're smiling. People will let people that are friendly inside their home, so make sure smiling is the key. And then after you've accomplished that first goal, the second goal is to make it a goal to get inside. Sometimes people can make a mistake of just going through the motions, and their goal really isn't to get inside, it's to sell a security system. Well, really the goal is not to sell a system, but the goal is to get in, because nothing happens until you get in. So there's that point, and then also believe that you're going to get in. We have a checklist that, I have a personal checklist. I want to get into 3 to 5 homes a night, and that's my gauge to, I know if I do that, I'm on my game. So to set a goal of how many homes you want to get in a night, and then the final thing, make sure you're asking to be let in. Hey, you got a couple minutes? Is it all right to come in? And follow that up with wiping your feet.
No, that's
Not taking all your.
no, that's after they've provided some interest, right?
Correct.
That you ask them, kid, if you can come in.
Well, yeah. Part of the script is. Have you thought about making your home a little safer?
And then if they are positive with their answer to that, is when you ask them if you can come in.
Your timing's perfect right now. You got a couple minutes. Is it all right to come in?
Right.
Wipe the feet.
Okay.
And you might go back to that several times.
Yeah, you might go back to
Absolutely.
it a couple times, because sometimes they might go, well, now's not a real good time. My husband's not home. Well, I mean, have you and your husband ever talked about making the home a little safer? Yeah, we have. Well, you got a couple minutes. Is it all right to come in? Sometimes it's not the first ask. You got to keep on it. Listen for their tone. Make sure the tone's right.
Do you mind sharing too? You just said one of your success stories today. You mentioned that you had kind of a one-liner to help you get in. Do you mind sharing that again?
The one-liner.
It was, hey, they didn't have a lot of time.
Oh, yeah. The customer the other day you're talking about?
Yes.
The customer the other day said he'd been thinking about it, but he doesn't have a lot of time. And I just kind of went back to the urgency, say, listen, it sounds like you have been thinking about it. Just to let you know, I'm down to my last 2 to give away today. I understand you're on the way out, but you got just a couple minutes. Is it all right to come in and explain to you? And
Wow.
you let me in.
That's great.
So.
And if you didn't say that last line and just took their initial excuses, hey, I don't have enough time, it probably would have been over.
It would have been over.
So it's just that one extra line. Sometimes it's just that extra little confidence of you saying, hey, this is important enough. Can we do it now? And just asking them again a second time. Great. Good stuff.
Well, it seems like that we're on the same page as far as what's needed in order to get in the house. My first thing was you need to go up to the door expecting to get in. You got to, if you don't expect that you're going to get in that house, chances are you won't get in there. So you have to expect it. Look sharp. When you feel like that you're looking sharp, you feel sharp, and when you feel sharp, you portray yourself in a much better atmosphere. I used to call this a pre-smile, and just kind of as soon as I knock on the door, I put a smile on my face just to remind me that's the way that I want to first be seen, is with a smile on my face. And I did mention when I knock, I personally feel like, if possible, a knock is more personal than a ringing the doorbell. That's just something that one of the trainers mentioned, and I will normally do that, and sometimes ring the doorbell too. But I'll first knock if I can, and see if they respond to that. I also have down here, keep a little bit back from the door. You don't want to do a pressed nose against their storm door when they open it up, that they feel like they need to stand back, or that you're crowding them. You need them to kind of lean forward to you rather than back up from you. So I like to, once I knock on the door, I'll take a step, or a nice step or two back to give them a little space. And once they come to the door, and we've got a little bit of a comfort area and have made eye contact with each other for a moment, then I will a little bit get closer to them. And as I do get closer, I try to position myself. A lot of homes have two doors, one a main door and then a storm door. I try to position myself at the where the storm door opens, and try to cause them to open that storm door enough that we can be talking in without any glass or doors separating us. If the goal is to get in, if I got the door that open a little bit, I just have a little bit more to go. So I try to position myself there. Also, always ask, is it all right to come in while wiping your feet? Always do that. I think if you don't ask to come in, and yes, it does put the people on the spot a little bit by asking them. They have to make a decision right then and there whether how they're going to respond to that. As long as you ask to come in, then it's something that they're going to have to answer that question for you, and wipe your feet at the same time, so that you're showing you are expecting them to give you a yes answer. And I normally nod my head. It's all right to come in for a minute, and nod my head yes, so that they have a clear understanding what kind of answer I'm looking to get on that. I do reach for the door if they sometimes they might, if it's all right to come in, they might, yeah, I'd be fine. And I reach for the door and open that storm door up and proceed in.
That's kind of showing your confidence by doing that, isn't it?
Yes, because I've expected to get in, and I don't know if what else that we can add on to that.
How about tone? Well, talk about tone for a second of the customer. What you're looking for with that?
Well, I've always said it's the nice people that sign up. Somebody that treats you, somebody that speaks in a nice tone. As long as they continue standing at the door and they have a nice tone. My opinion, I'm not done with them. I will continue to talk, and maybe they have an objection like, today's not a really good day, and just like Jason says, our special is today. I'm down to my last one to give out in the neighborhood. I hate you to miss that, and would it be all right to come in for a minute? And of course, a minute, that's kind of a general term. I don't like to give a specific number of minutes, but I say, sorry, come in for a minute, and give it another try. And I will continue to ask that question, is it all right to come in, until they say, no, we're not going to come in today. In fact, today's not a good day. And I say, okay, well, you want to find out if somebody answers the script question, yes, I have thought about making the home safer, and they're polite and nice to you, then I will continue to try. Unless some people with a nice tone will say, did you say your name is Ron? I said, yes. I'm trying to be as polite as I can to you. This is not a good day to do this. And then you respect that, because Jeff might come back tomorrow not knowing that I was there and knock on that same door, and they might say, well, yeah, that this person was resourced. So basically, I'm leaving with a good seed.
Right. So. That's good. Anything else you want to share on tone?
I think you pretty much covered it.
Okay, how about, could you mind, Jason, maybe talking about comebacks? When people ask you, a lot of times somebody might ask you, hey, do you have a flyer, or do you have a card, or something of that nature that might be just a way to get rid of you or not, or whatever?
A lot of times it's a nice way of saying no, but I'll qualify that. If they ask me to come back, or do you have a card or brochure, my follow-up question immediately is, well, let me ask you, have you thought about making your home a little safer?
Yes. Yeah. We thought about it.
You thought about it?
Mm-hmm.
Tell you what, we're doing a special today. We got 2 of these left to give away today. You got a couple minutes, is it all right to come in? So I've totally I'm not going to give them a card just because they asked me. I'm going to ask them, had they thought about making their home a little safer? And what that does is it makes them tell me if they're interested or not. They might go, no, we haven't thought about it, and quite honestly, we don't want this. Well, okay, you're pretty much done with that person. But if they do give you a positive response to that, your follow-up after that is, they're all right to come in.
I think that's huge what you just said. Qualify your comebacks. I think that's the key of what you're saying. Just because someone tells you or asks you to come back, you're not saying, oh yeah, no problem, I'll be back, right? You are getting a reason why you have to stop back. I mean, if they have a remote control in their hand, and just look like they're just kind of stretched out. I mean, you're not coming back most likely,
No,
right?
not coming back.
I mean, unless they give you a ridiculously good reason. Because why? They're just going to run you around. It'll probably be a no anyway, right?
It's 95% chance there'll be a no anyway if you come back.
However, if these people say, I'm on a long distance call right now, or we're right in the middle of eating dinner, can I come back in 30 minutes for you? And see what they say. Because I have definitely given somebody an opportunity to finish their dinner and come back and signed them up. So I know that is legitimate. I might not want to stop if I was in the middle of dinner or had an important phone call.
But you do qualify them first. If they say they're in the middle of dinner, you would say, have you thought about making your home a little safer?
Yes, and would you like me to come back after dinner for you, so that you can take advantage of this special?
Right.
And
make them tell you, yes, I would.
make them answer some questions for you.
Yeah.
That's good. I think the key is realizing that, somebody asking for a flyer or a card that really doesn't give you enough information, and or ask you to come back, right? I mean, I think you can't count on that as a future sale or whatever, because that's just going to clog your mind up with possibility of sales, which it ain't going to happen, right? And if you do have to stop back, I think that's a good point. If you do have to stop back, and it's a legitimate reason, what's your goal?
If you have to come back?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're talking about getting in. The goal is to get into their house, and because nothing happens outside. They won't sign up on their front steps. You've got to get inside. So if we're talking about, the first goal is to get inside their house. We know how important it is to compliment these people and to make a quick friendship with them. And it's sometimes that's difficult to do if they're inside their house and you're on the porch. You've got to get inside to get it started.
Okay, good. Could we go through one, like maybe, hey, my spouse isn't here, how you would overcome that? Someone has a good tone and just says, hey, my spouse isn't here. How would you still ask to come in?
Is that something that you have talked about, making your home a little bit safer? We keep coming back to that because that is, in my opinion, that's a key factor of whether these people have interest. If they have talked about making their home safer, how did they, is that something that you all decided that, yes, we want to do? Can you real quick get him or her on the phone while I've got a special opportunity here? Can you get them on the phone? I'd be glad to speak to them and tell them a little bit about what we're doing. Can you do that? And see what, it's about. If somebody really wants to take advantage of it and to make their home safer, they will respond and act on some of the questions that you ask them. If they're not interested or just use that as an excuse, you find that out pretty quick by taking it to the next level and challenge them a little bit as to can you get them on the phone, or what did you all come up with once you did discuss it.
It's good. How about if someone starts asking you, what is the cost? What is the monitoring rate? Do you get into monitoring rates out there on the front porch?
If they ask me how much is it?
Yes.
Well, we have a couple different packages available. Do you have a couple minutes? Is it all right to come in? I'll be glad to tell you about them.
Very good. If you're giving monitoring rates out on the front porch, what's your success going to be here getting in?
Almost zero.
Almost zero. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. You don't want to get into specifics with them as far as cost. You have told them that your equipment and possibly their installation is zero at the door. But if they ask you how much is it, well, have you thought about making? Have you shopped it? Yeah.
Yeah, all I was going to say to that, too, is that the psychology there is that if you give them too much information, they're going to try to make a decision right there by that information you've given them before you've had a chance to totally tap into their reasons of why they want a security system. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Okay, so that's why you get into monitoring rates outside. It's just too much information at that stage. You won't get in. And, so you want to back up and say, or say, hey, we have several different packages. Is it all right to come in? That is a huge key, for somebody just starting out. The last, I think that's all I had. Anything else about getting in? How about one other thought was walking up to their door, noticing things, and if you do that, how do you use that in a script? As you're walking up to the house, what are some things you might be looking for? Or do you save that information for when you get in the house?
Well, especially this time of year, you might find some people working out in their yard, and you still want to get in their house and say, if somebody's out there in the flower bed weeding, I said, is that how you get the flowers to grow pretty? Is to pull the weeds out? Well, yeah. And I would give them the script right while they're kneeling down with gloves on and a hat on and weeding their flower bed, and give them the script and say, can we go into the house for a minute? It looks like you need be a good chance for you to take a break too. And you got to have fun with these. Also, an important thing that with getting in, one of my gauges is, can I get these people to crack a little smile? And I didn't mention that, but being too serious with these people, I believe, will keep you from getting in. You've got to keep it light. It's got to be fun for them. They're not going to let somebody that feels like is going to just bore the daylights out of them. They're not looking forward to letting you into their house, or somebody that looks like you're ready to spend the evening there. This is just kind of something that you have to do it quickly, do it with a good attitude, but it needs to be fun for this person to sign up to.
I guess last question it pertains to anyone watching this that might just be getting started, and maybe talking a little bit about the learning curve. That, I think some people think, I've been selling for years and I know how to do it, or, I've sold things before. But this takes a certain skill. All these little things that you guys are saying you have learned through the years to say, not to say, to use urgency, to not mention the monitoring rates outside. All these things are part of your skill that you've built. If somebody's just getting started, maybe you could touch on that this isn't, just something that you necessarily are going to grab overnight, that keep beating on your craft. I love Will Smith saying, keep beating on your craft to get better. Can you touch on that for a minute of that, you didn't day one have all these ideas and thoughts and psychology and when to wipe your feet and when to reach for the door and when to say, hey, well, let me ask you, is the, Mrs., can we get her on the phone? I mean, all those things, it's learned over time, right?
It is.
Can you touch on that at all? I mean, what somebody should do just getting started, trying to learn this skill? And
well, one of the things is practice. Number two is I think it's really important to pay attention to what your trainer's doing. Your trainer is the one that has the track record and the success behind them, and you need to pay attention, and you need to ask questions. Do you do this? Do you do that? And that's one of the things in between going from door to door is ask your trainer questions and find out, why did you do this? Why did you say that? And kind of get as much information. You have to be hungry for the information. And of course, the larger your appetite is, the more you'll get fed. So yes, it's not something that maybe seems automatic pilot. I know some people As soon as a customer opens the door, they're ready to shake the customer's hand. Now, if the man sticks his hand out to shake my hand, I will shake his hand. But I'm not out there being aggressive trying to shake his hand before I get into that house. Do you?
No.
No. But it's just paying attention to what your trainer does. I don't know if that answers your question.
It's good. Anything else you want to share on that, Jason?
Yeah, just dive in with both feet. Don't be afraid to work. We always preach that you knock on 100 doors, you'll get a deal. When I first started, I probably knocked on 200 or 300 doors a day. Just to learn it, because repetition is the mother of all skills. So if you keep doing it, like you say, beating on your craft and talking to people and practicing and figuring out what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, eventually you'll get it. And once you get it, you got it. So.
Very good. And I know I said that was the last question, but this is really the last question. All right, if you put in 25 to 30 hours of straight door knocking a week, on average, what would you expect to write? So just give people an idea that when you develop the skill, where you can be.
I have a personal goal is to get into a house an hour. And that's where it kind of begins. And if I'm out there for 2 or 3 hours and I haven't gotten into a house, I feel like I better maybe look into a mirror and see if I'm doing something wrong, or or I have some food on my face or whatever. But that's kind of my benchmark. And if you're not getting into any houses in your 3, 4, 5 hours, however long that you're out there, you're not going to do any paperwork that day, in my opinion. So it all starts right there at getting into the house.
Do you think, because what I have noticed is there are neighborhoods that are just a little bit better when you're going to them. The more people are interested. Navy people are in that. If it's a large contingency of Navy people in there, young Navy people, are you telling me that you can pick any neighborhood and go in there for an hour and get into one? Anyone? Doesn't matter?
That does not change my goal, what neighborhood I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
That's my goal, is to get into a house an hour. Does it always happen exactly like that? No. It's possible to get into 3 houses in a row, and it's possible that you're 2 hours and you haven't gotten into one. But basically, what I was trying to say by that, if you're not getting into a couple, 3 houses in your time out there on a daily basis, that there's something possibly wrong with what's being said on the porch.
Or your excitement level.
Or
Expectancy.
Right.
And so how many doors that you get in would you expect to write one? On the average, I mean, if you were to put something together, just so people watching this can get some kind of feel.
I would expect out of three houses that I get in, that I'm going to sign one up.
Okay.
And some of these people might already have a system, but they just let me in. You don't know, But it's not going to happen unless you get into the house.
Very good. Jason, say.
Well, I'm a big believer of, you knock on 100 doors, you'll get a deal. That's pretty much the bottom line on the average. Like Ron said, it might be the first door you knock on, it might be the last. Usually it's somewhere in between, but that's kind of what you want to have the mindset of, is I'm going to go knock on 100 doors today and see what happens.
Very good. And last, hey, I just want to, while we finish up this learning curve, shoot over here to Jeff. And Jeff is starting with us. And Jeff, I hope you don't mind sharing your story a little bit with us. That we know the first day on your own you wrote a deal, and that was excellent. But then you went a week and you secured only one more home in that next week. And then this past week, what I understand, you've secured 4 homes. Is that correct?
Right.
Can you speak to the maybe the learning curve as far as hanging in there, learning the skill, what you're doing, what is getting you different results now than maybe that first week in the business?
Well, I think the first one that I got, I just was lucky enough to go to a door where the lady was absolutely interested and invited me in immediately. So that one, I pretty much chalk up to luck. You know, it's just blind luck. I hit the right door. And then for the next week, I knew that there was, listening to the trainers and then going through these meetings, it became apparent that having an urgency was very important. Briskness of getting around to the houses, not worrying about the no's, looking for that person that's truly interested is probably the most important parts about this. And so that's kind of what I've concentrated on. And I think Ron had a perfect point, and it's held true on everything that I've done, is the people that are nice and courteous are usually the ones that you're going to relate to and make a deal with. And so those are the kinds of things that I've seen.
That's great. That's great. And it seems to me, I see you taking notes at meetings, that you get something out of just about every meeting, even if it's just one little nugget or something that helps you, that you're continually building a skill on.
Absolutely.
Very good.
Yeah, and I think I told Jason the other day, the guy was, well, they were going out of town on vacation or something. And we were already in the house and talking, and they pretty much wanted the system and everything. And then his wife all of a sudden, well, why don't we just wait until after the vacation to do this? And I said, well, you can do that, but, you know, this is a special promotion. I'm not sure I can get you the $99 rebate if you wait. You know, it'd be preferable to do it now. Okay, yeah, let's do that.
So if you didn't say that, you possibly would have never even got that deal.
Yeah, no problem. We'll wait till you get back.
Right.
That would not have been the thing to say.
That one little line right there, having that confidence of saying that helped you get the deal. Are you finding that with a lot of your deals? I mean, you can look back and say, man, if I hadn't said this one thing that maybe I picked up from a trainer or at a meeting or whatever, I might not have gotten that deal.
Or there's some that I've not gotten because I've either said too much or not said enough. And yeah, you're absolutely correct. Every meeting that we have, I'm learning something.
Very good.
That I can apply. Yeah.
It's a skill, isn't it, that you're continuing
very much
growing.
is. I mean, of course, right now, being very new, some of it just looks like, you know, you just run across it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but if that's even when you run across it, you better know what to do when you run across. Yeah, it's like when you're hunting. You know, you come across the bear, you better know what to do.
Right. Yeah. That's right. Well, great. Very good.